Asha and Carlisle arrived in Pervaz, feeling weary and concerned about once thriving land. They crossed the border and found no civilization, leaving Asha heartbroken by the ruins and broken people. He asks Asha about the amount she planned to receive from his father. She answered that she was expecting 500,000, but Carlisle argued that it is not enough to rebuild Pervis. Carlisle laughs and told her that she is lucky she had him. Asha is filled with admiration and she nods with determination to use the money for food and medicine. Asha and Carlisle arrived at the castle. Asha was feeling both proud and apprehensive as she saw her people. She gave the second floor to Carlisle, which is usually reserved for the ruling lord and his family. Carlisle asked his friend Lionel to move his stuff to the second floor. Duke Haven's people were looking strange with Asha when Decker asks Asha to take a look at her room on the first floor. Asha is surprised by the lavishly adorned room, which is filled with flowers and a sense of excitement. She is hesitant to sleep in a room with flowers, but she is touched by the headmaid's efforts to create a comfortable bed. Asha appreciates the room and flowers placed by the headmaid, symbolizing the end of the war. She talks to Della, a strong maid, which suggested to have a proper maid for her as to maintain a proper household and avoid Carlisle people to find fault on Asha. Asha expresses gratitude for the dedicated staff and she is confident in their supervision and plans to unpack Prince Carlisle's belongings tomorrow. She talked with Decker discussing the behavior of Carlisle people against her. In the day after tomorrow, Carlisle and his friend Lionel discuss the arrangements for newly arrived supplies to Pervaz. They send a full month's rations with the first arrivals, and was surprised that Asha's people didn't steal a penny. Carlisle expresses concerns about an alliance with Countess Pervaz, but they can't say they won't betray them. He asks Lionel to investigate important people in Pervaz, especially Decker. In the palace, Carlisle's stepmother and Gabriel engage in a conversation. Gabriel greets the Empress while she thanks Gabriel and expresses her desire to discuss the future of the empire. Gabriel is attentive and would be honored to have a moment with her. After receiving supplies from the capital, the city of Pervis began to improve gradually. Asha assessed the progress and received gratitude from a villager. She and her friend Decker, who had faced hardships, distributed rations and repaired communal ovens. Asha was concerned about the long-term stability of her people and the risk of running out of supplies. Asha is surprised to see massive logs stacked neatly in the courtyard of Pervis, indicating that Prince Carlisle has purchased the northern surplus timber. She wonders about the origin of this and wonders if he bought it on his way back to Pervaz. She appreciates the Duke's gesture and is willing to do whatever he wants if he makes her dreams come true. Asha visits Carlisle, expressing gratitude for his assistance. The Duke informs her he has given her money and materials but hasn't heard her plans. Carlisle is surprised by Asha's enthusiasm and wonders if she stole the money, possibly keeping a double ledger. Duke Carlisle is intrigued by Asha's detailed plans for rebuilding the Pervis, despite her enthusiasm for the supplies. Carlisle was surprised for her character and commitment for the reconstruction of Pervis. He asked if she kept anything for herself. Asha confesses to Carlisle that she is planning to sell her wedding ring and necklace, which he had given her after they divorce. Carlisle reflects on his feelings of surprise and hurt, unsure of how Asha would have made such a plan. He feels a mix of disbelief and resignation, as he cannot help but feel a pang of disappointment that the necklace he gave her held no value in Pervaz. Carlisle's stepmother and High Priest Gabriel discuss Carlisle's curse and the possibility of destroying the empire. The Empress asked his support and suggests her son, Matthias, as a potential successor. Gabriel agrees, but want her to make the Chad Empire a holy empire. The Empress asks for time as she will consider it. Gabriel told her that it may take time to consider with the gods. Lionel questions his concerns about the servants' attitude towards the castle of Pervaz. He explains that their lack of reverence may upset Countess Pervaz. Carlisle instructs their servants not to leave their territory, and reassures him that it is more important to keep a close eye on the nobles in the capital. Nina, Ash's maid, is scolded by Carlisle maid as she didn't recognize her place and didn't recognize superiority as she was His Highness maid who is higher from Countess Pervaz. She apologizes but became angry for badmouthing the Countess. Mrs. Lemire intervenes, reminding Nina that she serves the Countess of Pervaz and her strength comes from her people's unity and resilience. Mrs. Lemire approached Decker to discuss a troubling situation. She revealed that Prince Carlisle's maid insulted Lady Pervaz, and Decker was shocked. Mrs. Lemire expressed concern that if they didn't address the issue, it could escalate into something bigger. He threatened to tell Asha, stating that Prince Carlisle is not to tolerate such disrespectful behavior. Countess Pervaz enters the room, expressing seriousness. Asha is angry and asks Carlisle to check his servants who is disturbing hers. Carlisle tries to understand her anger, but believes his servants wouldn't say anything wrong. She asks Sir Lionel Bailey to bring her the contract, and they both read it together. Asha told him that they may humiliate her but not her people. She demands that the people of Pervaz be treated with respect and dignity, as she believes that turning against them will make it difficult to achieve his goals. Carlisle is surprised by Asha's gravity of words. He challenges Asha if what she will do if he doesn't heed her words. Asha looked at him with cold eyes and told him to take care of himself as there is no cure for being bitten by a wild dog. Carlisle is impressed by Asha's strength and determination, and commands Lionel to gather the servants. The servants, eagerly awaiting Prince Carlisle's announcement, were filled with tension. Asha, surprised by Carlisle's authority, wondered if this was his way of accepting her as his wife or merely an attempt to protect and care for her. As accused servants stepped forward, their guilt became evident. One servant spoke up defiantly and denied their involvement, claiming they were teaching them some manners. The maid tried to shift blame onto Asha and her people from Pervaz, but she continued to question if anything was the people from Pervaz who were provoking them. Carlisle asks them who is her wife and accuses them of slandering the imperial family. Carlisle turned to Lionel to execute the servants for slandering the imperial family. The tension grows among the servants who plead for mercy. Asha intervenes and questions about cutting out their tongues, expressing her desire for mutual respect between her people and Carlisle people. Carlisle sighs deeply as he finally understands her perspective. Asha emphasized the importance of mutual understanding and support in Pervaz, despite differences. She urged servants to not look down on them, as their humble lifestyle demonstrates their commitment to the empire. Carlisle, feeling proud, praised her, but warned them of no second chance. Asha leaned closer to Carlisle, whispering in his ear about his servants' heads and tongues. Carlisle smiled and suggested they share a meal to celebrate a happy resolution. Asha rejected and turned away, leaving Carlisle to wonder how he would convince her to have dinner with him. Priest Gabriel and Carlisle's stepmother discuss their thoughts on Prince Matthias' future as emperor. She cautiously accepts Gabriel's condition and reveals that Carlisle left for Pervaz, a distant city where the imperial family held no authority. Gabriel ponders her words and reassures her that the gods would recognize her piety when the time comes.